You know, what sucks about being somebody in this position is that people never take you seriously, honestly. Ever since you were young, ever since you was a kid, people always kind of overlooked you. They never prioritize your emotions, your feelings, your wants, your needs. And you grow up thinking that you should be secondary. Like you don't prioritize yourself even when you have the power to in certain situations to prioritize yourself, you still think about others. And it's all because people never took you seriously when you were younger and it's just been embedded inside of your head. So even you start to take yourself as a joke at times. And what I mean by that is you're not taking yourself seriously. You lose faith in yourself. You lose the ability to even think critically and analyze your situation and try to find the little good details in your life that you can try to maximize and capitalize on. And it's extremely brutal. But at the end of the day, I truly believe there's a spiritual force behind this all. It doesn't matter how people try to, you know, think positive. What? I'm just gonna start watching BP content and think positive, bro. And that's all. It's like life doesn't work that way. You know, I believe there are the archons and the demiurge who pretty much plan on who gets what and who gets taken seriously and who gets taken as a joke. And what makes this even worse is when you get older and you grow up being somebody that no one really took serious, everybody kind of just ignored or they overlooked your needs and wants. And especially if you're like short. This is something that's like a people don't like talking about because it's like a sensitive topic, but let's just be real. When you're a short man, no one takes you seriously. Other men don't really take you seriously unless you get really angry, unless you get, into a physical confrontation. And then they'll take you seriously once you put a couple of swings at their jaw or whatever. But besides that, they're going to overlook you. They're going to think they can, punk you. They're going to try to talk to you disrespectfully. Even women will disrespect a guy that's short. And especially if you're like short and you're balding, and your hairline's pushed back, like all those things just scream to women that you're somebody that's subservient. You're somebody that's kind of that's not worthy of respect in their eyes. And it's brutal. It's not right. And it's the way this society is formed. And there's a storm of negative emotions that overwhelm you. And there's nothing you can really do about it, especially after a certain age. Your own parents don't take you seriously because they think that, oh, you're 25 years old and you don't have your own house and a boat and a lake and a wife and four children. It's like, come on, that all costs money. And then your dad starts talking to you disrespectfully. Your mama looks at you, differently. Even your own brother. And it sucks if you're older. If you're the older brother and you're the one that's a quote unquote, loser or failure as society deems it, which is crazy. But if society deems you that and your younger brother sees you like you can't really help him, you can't really guide him, you don't have that much money, you're not really successful, even your younger brother's going to start looking at you in a negative way. If you have like a younger sister or even an older sister, your siblings period are going to look at you negative and start talking behind your back. And it'll be bad things like when they get married, they're not going to invite you to the wedding. you know my stepsister, did not invite me to her wedding. And it's like, damn, that let me know that was like a punch to the face, honestly. It's like that let me know that I'm really not loved like that. I'm not cared about like that when it pertains to certain people, you know, and it makes you think critically, like, okay, if I was a rich and successful person, I guarantee not only would I have been invited, but it would have been like almost mandatory that I come, right? But since I'm a fly on the wall, since I'm somebody that people don't really notice or pay attention to, people usually ignore me, right? They see me and just keep on walking, don't even pay no attention to me unless I'm in the store and they think I'm going to steal something, which is absolutely crazy. It's like, I'm the type of person when I go into a store, I don't linger. I already know what I want in my mind before I go, and I just go get the item and come right out. Meanwhile, other people like to talk and linger. I don't like doing all that, because it's just like too many bad experiences is what I'll say. But people don't take you seriously when you're a guy in this position because you don't have a woman in your life, you never had a woman in your life, and especially if you're a grown virgin, that gets people to just laugh at you. A long time ago there was a movie called The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Or the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah, that's right. And it was a joke at the time. Now at the time I was a kid, so I wasn't, I didn't, I was a kid, right? But I remember adults at the time like laughing at it, looking at it as like that was something that's just so preposterous, right? But now, as I'm coming up on the big 40 in like less than a decade, it's not as preposterous as people think. It's not. And a lot of people in this situation are absolutely obliterated in their confidence and obliterated in their mind. So being a guy in this position, you got to face family rejection. Your family doesn't take you serious. People at your school don't take you serious. Your coworkers don't take you serious. Your associates, your friends, whoever, they just don't take you serious. They look at you like you're some kid or somebody that's just irresponsible. But little do they know is just life just gave you a bad deck of cards. It dealt you a bad hand. It dealt you a losing hand and not a winning hand. And you had no help. You had no mental alleviation, physical alleviation, or sexual alleviation, which is very important. Is of the utmost importance of having a female in your life or having somebody to just hold you in those times of darkness, somebody that's by your side, somebody that's ready to ride, somebody that just, shows you love and affection. Like, we're men, right? We need love and affection. Women always get love and affection. You know what I mean? If a woman says she's not getting love and affection, then tell her just go on Tinder, or just walk down the damn street and look at the first sad guy you see and try to flirt with him and guarantee you get some love and attention then, right? I've seen women that were as big as the Titanic. You know what I mean? And they have somebody in their life, right? And her male equivalent is just doomed. It's just doomed. Outside the room is doomed. Honestly, but it's just it doesn't do good for your spirit or your confidence when people never take you serious. Like people like whenever you get mad, people kind of laugh it off and think it's a joke until it becomes physical. And then all of a sudden it's not a joke anymore. People keep teasing you and poking fun at you, especially if you're a short man, especially if you're short and bald, or if you're short and just in a certain position, like your hairline's messed up and you're just a short guy. Because men are not supposed to really be short. That's why I say, damn the demiurge, the one who ever created all this. Why would you create short men? I think every man should mandatory be 6 foot tall. Every man, just like I feel like every female should be, in a petite size and be skinny and in shape, right? It's just a natural formality of the body, because you have to have a healthy body, a healthy life, a healthy mind, right? So if you're a short guy and there's women that are bigger than you, how does that make you feel as a man? And especially if you're in a position where you're not socially accepted, when you're socially awkward, you don't have that much experience with women, your confidence is low, your money is low, your time is low, and everything is just low, and it breaks you down over time, right? And people never take you serious. No one's going to take a guy who's like, you know, five something serious over a guy that's like 6'4" and like, 280 pounds. Somebody that's 6'4", 280 pounds, people want to, be a little more fearful than if a guy's like 5'7" and 150 pounds, right? Because at the end of the day, humans are animals. Humans like to judge each other. Humans like to look at each other and try to size each other up, and it's brutal and it's crazy. But that's just the way people are. People love judging. People love talking about people. People just love drama, and people just love trying to feel superior over somebody. And that's the wrong thing about this world. This is why I just wish, man, I could just go to my own island, far away from everybody, and just build like a military base or something. You know what I mean? Like, get a big old giant, spaceship, and just, if I want to, I can fly to the moon or whatever and just have my own city. I want my own damn city with my own rules, my own regulations, my own law, my own money, my own this. I probably wouldn't even have any money. I probably have some type of trading and bartering system. I don't know. But the problem is the powers that be are not going to let us just go and build our own little cities and countries like that. You got to follow rules and regulations. They'll just say it's federal land, or they'll say you can't do that and this, or they'll just send the damn military after you and just take you down. It's brutal. It's like in some of those countries in Europe where it's like a little small patch of land and somebody can just come there and claim it as their own country, but it's just a useless piece of land, until the real powers that be come and say, okay, this is valuable land now, then it becomes theirs, And there's nothing you can do about it because power only respects power. And you don't have the backbone to take on these industrialized military forces that are exemplary when it comes to warfare and military tactics and strategies. It's a brutal life, man, because when you're not taken seriously as a man, it destroys your confidence. Like, when you get mad and when you say stop or whatever, people are just going to keep on laughing at you because they think you're a joke, especially if you're unattractive. Now, when an attractive person that's taken, because it's all based on looks, man. Like, when the attractive person says stop, everybody stops, right? Let's just be real. Like, as soon as the attractive person gets mad and angry and gets fed up and has enough, then everybody takes that seriously. But the person that's kind of not as attractive and that person that's kind of, sticks to themselves and they're quiet, whenever you start to snap or whenever you start to raise your voice, nobody takes you seriously. They take you like you're a joke or something. They don't take you serious, and it's brutal. And what makes this worse is that as it lowers your confidence year by year by year, it's just going to keep on going on. It's never really going to, it's really never going to get really, really better, as people claim and say that, oh man, sometimes, if you're somebody that's been rejected for a long time and if you're a short guy, it's going to get better if you just go to the gym and lift weights. It's like, okay, there's plenty of guys. I think even Rehab Room did a video on this, where you have guys that are short, but they're buff. And to women, that's still unattractive. Yeah, you got muscles, but you're short. Like a woman wants somebody that she can feel secure in. And yeah, you may be buff, you may be strong, you know. If worse comes to worse, you get into trouble and you defend her, she may be kind of grateful, maybe, but she's not going to date you. But a woman wants somebody that she can look up to and who's physically imposing, somebody that feels like a titan or a giant, somebody that feels like a king, not somebody that feels like her equal. You see, the human mentality is very crazy, right? Because at the end of the day, at one time, humans used to live with constant predators. I mean, we still live with constant predators, but you know what I mean, like the saber-toothed tiger, the damn titanic boa, all types of monsters running around. And don't believe everything scientists tell you either. Don't believe, oh, well, humans never encountered this. Humans and dinosaurs never lived around each other. It's like, be quiet. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so many classified things I can speak on right now. I'm just not going to get into it. But just know this. There's a lot more secrets that they're not telling the public than what they are telling the public, right? And if you're, and let's just put it this way. Most of the information that they tell you is just bull crap and it's been filtered. They tell you that and they let you know it because they want you to know it so they can control your mind, right? But history is a lot more mysterious than what we're led on to believe. But as you grow older and you're expected to have a better job every single year. Like as a man, you're supposed to double your income every few years. Every few years you're supposed to double your income as a man. And if you're not doubling your income every few years and you get stagnant at a job, people are going to lose respect for you and they're not going to take you serious. Like, why would they take anybody serious who's like 35 years old working at McDonald's or 35 years old and you're driving for Uber Eats or doing something like that? That's not a serious job. It's not a career. That's somebody that's barely getting by, right? People only respect, the name and the title and the money and the power. People respect the power. When you're a doctor or you're a neurosurgeon, people respect that because they know that makes a lot of money. But if you tell them that you say you're a YouTuber or something like that, or you're a streamer, they're not going to really respect that until they see some real money behind it. Like you got to be like on Mr. Beast level or something like that, or even beneath Mr. Beast level. But you have to have something that's tangible, something that's impressive, like a nice car, a nice home, a boat, a plane, something like that. And then people are more likely to respect you, more likely to hold you with a high regard. But if you're somebody that you say you do, oh yeah, I do YouTube, and you got about 200, 400, 500 followers, even 1,000 followers, like they're not going to really take you serious. They're going to be like, oh, okay, they're going to be like, isn't YouTube for kids? And that's the boomer mentality, right? Isn't YouTube for kids? It's like, come on, man. YouTube is for everybody of all ages. You have people, fishing videos. Sometimes I like to watch fishing videos, hunting videos, when people get deer and they skin the deer and stuff like that and they prepare it or whatever. Like there's all types of things on YouTube that you can watch. So it's not for kids. It's just that these boomers, they don't understand how the society has changed since they were young. And so when you're somebody that's in our position and you have boomer parents or boomer grandparents and they look at you and they don't take you serious because they're like, how are you a man and you don't have this, that, and the third? Back in my day in 1967 and 1954, in 1942, back in my day, maybe not 1942 because that was World War II and the Battle of Stalingrad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe like in 1952, you have the old boomers, back in my day, this, that, and the third. And back in my day, I got a house with a handshake and a piece of bubble gum. It's like, and $2, and a new car. It's like those days are long gone and they're over. It's not 1967 baby boomers. It's not 1959. It's not the early 70s and stuff like that. When like the apartment, the rent for the apartment's $100. You know what I mean? And 2 pairs of socks. Like, no. It's ridiculous. That same apartment now is like $2,000 to $3,000. It's like $3,100 for rent a month, and it's like a 1-bedroom apartment. $3,100 for a 1-bedroom apartment. God forbid if you live in Cali, and God forbid if you live in any type of expensive place, to try to survive. And then people are not going to take you seriously. They're going to blame you for the economic destabilization of the economy. It's like you can't blame a regular working guy based on this economy. This economy is just screwed on purpose. It's designed to break people. It's designed to make people, just have a miserable life. And it's not a good thing, man. It's not good to always be trapped in this position. It's not good to always face all of these psychological issues that we face. It's not good. There's so many things in this world that goes wrong. There's so many things that if the right people were in power, things would be different. If people just understood how much we go through as people in this position, I think we should get respect just for going through this. All the things that we've been through, the lack of social interaction, the lack of female validation and verification and authentication, the lack of having a girl in your duration, the lack of having a girl in your circle, that should demand some respect instead of Chad and Tyrone getting all these females and they get more respect. It's like, well, you're an attractive guy. Of course, you're going to get women looking at you. Of course, you get women throwing themselves at you. But what about the unattractive guy who hasn't blown up yet, who hasn't went ER yet, who keeps his mind and he keeps his emotions in check and he tries to do the right thing. He tries to follow all the rules, the regulations and guidelines, and he does the right thing in life, but he's heavily ignored. His family doesn't take him serious. His love interest doesn't take him serious. Like the girl that he likes, she looks at him have you ever had a girl roll their eyes at you? Like seriously, have you ever had a girl laugh in your face when you try to go up to her and try to talk to her and try to like cold approach her, right? Have you ever had a girl just laugh in your face? Have you? I have. You know what I mean? I have. So I understand that pain. And this is a lot, and this is what something that a lot of people just don't get is that not everybody has the same, like, not everybody has the same type of positive experiences in life, man. Right? Not everybody has these positive experiences where it's just happy land, where it's just Disneyland every day. Most people go through extreme hell and torment in life, and that's just normal. Most people in the world are poor, like we live in America, so our definition of poverty is a lot different than somebody that lives in India, right? But it's still suffering, it's still loose energetic manifestation or frequency harvesting. It's still negative energy that's being harvested no matter what country you're in, you're still facing the same turmoil. And humans are visual creatures, so if you don't look the part, people automatically don't respect you and they lose respect for you. So if you don't look the part like a boss or whatever, then people automatically are just going to assume you're not, and people are just going to not give you respect. They're not going to even give you the time of day. If you're somebody trying to get a home loan or something like that, you can pass the credit check, but the person just doesn't like you. They're just not going to even, they just don't like you. That's nothing you can do about it. They don't respect you. Like, how many times where people got to admit that they make money, selling beats online or doing something online where it's like online internet money. And they try to tell the apartment or some place they're trying to rent that they make money from the internet and they just don't believe it until a large, very large sum of money comes in and then they believe it, right? But most people are not going to be in a position to even earn, from doing what they love online. It's an extremely rare position to earn lots of money doing what you love. And when you have a dream such as like, let's say being an artist or being something that can get you a lot of fame and fortune and attention from women. And if you don't make it, people are going to think less of you. People are not going to take you serious. Somebody's not going to take some guy who says, they make music and they're not riding in a Ferrari or they're not in a mansion or whatever. I remember this one producer said this. He said, when certain rappers come in the studio, like, if you come in there looking tacky and you're dressing and you're not dressing right, these people don't even want to make music with you because of how you dress. They don't care if you're actually talented. They don't care about that. You have the best beats in the world, the best raps in the world, but if you don't look the part, they don't even want to listen to your music. But if you come in there with the rapper chain, you got a Maserati outside, you got a pretty girl in your arm, you got jewelry and diamonds, you got all this, they're going to look at you and be like, hell, I want to buy beats from that guy. Even if your beats are whack, even if your beats is not as good as the person that's poor. People judge you on your looks. People take you serious. They take you serious based on your looks. And a lot of people in this position are not taken serious. They're not taken serious until, negative world events happen. And when these negative world events happen, people start seeing a pattern. It's lonely, isolated men who's been neglected and, unselected by society. And it's not really a wide variety of that, because a lot of guys are just losing it. A lot of young men are just coming into terms with, it's over. It's honestly over. You only have your youth once. You're only 19 one time. You're only in your early 20s one time. Like you can only be 21 years old one time, right? And as you get older and older and older, and you still have these unfinished dreams and realizations and actualizations that you never accomplished, it breaks you down. And then you start to just doubt yourself, and you don't even take your own self seriously enough to try. There's things that you could probably do, but you don't even feel like trying because you've been beaten down so much. There could be a time where a girl may give you a chance once in the blue moon, but it's kind of like the demiurge just playing with you because he knows how much pain you're going through. He knows you're not going to even go for it. It could be a time you're in the library and a girl just smiles at you randomly, and you look and frown back at her and walk out because you don't want nothing to do with that. And it's like, damn, you just sabotage yourself from the foot. But that can happen if you have negative emotional fluctuations. You know, that can happen. And when it happens, it's absolutely brutal because you will never get that chance again. Ask me how I know. Right? And you'll go years thinking about, damn, I should have talked to that girl, this, that, and this. But you got to understand that if what's meant to be is meant to be, man. And a lot of us were meant to be loose farmed by the demiurge, unfortunately. That's why we must break free from the evil demiurge. We have to control our negative energetic manifestational frequency and the frequency of that. We have to control that. But it's hard to control it because life is designed to make you angry. And then the demiurge puts certain people in your life to be like parasites towards you. The demiurge will put people to attack you. It'll put you in the wrong family. They'll give you the wrong type of brother that's a jealous brother. It'll give you evil family members. It'll give you it will have random people just try to target you and try to take you down for no apparent. Like, these people go out their way to try to mess with you, right? Like they'll sit on your channel and they'll go to your second channel. They'll go to your third channel. They'll find all your channels to try to mess with you, right? The demiurge is orchestrating all of that, and it's brutal. And you go out into the real world, try to talk to a girl, or whatever, you notice that every girl you try to talk to is the same rejection. And you can't help what you like. You like what you like. You like pretty women, shit. Just like women like handsome men. They don't like guys like us in this position. Everybody has their choices and preferences, and that's fine. The problem is when you have millions upon millions of guys who have nothing, and you have millions and millions of girls who also don't have anything, but they refuse to get what their looks match. And that creates a discrepancy that's intolerable.